Hello, I'm Jessica with Stay Cozy Creative Co. And today I'm going to show you how to make one of these pumpkins. So we're using a hand crochet technique, and if you bought one of our kits, then all of your materials have been included. If you did not buy the kit, you can find that on our website at staycozyco.com. And if you want to buy the materials yourself, this is one skein of our big velvet yarn in the color tangerine. But as you can see, you can use any color that you want. So this is our plaid big cotton yarn, and we have a variety of other colors that you can choose from as well. In your kit, I included a piece of wood, which is actually just from a big paint string stick. But if you have another piece of wood or a stick or cardboard or something else that you want to use around your house, feel free to do that as well. And then your kit also included a faux green leaf to add on top. So that is optional, you don't have to add that, but I think it adds a nice touch and some extra detail to the pumpkins. This is a pretty simple craft. We're going to be using a single hand crochet technique, and I hope that you really love it. Besides your yarn, your stem, and your leaf, you will also need some scissors and a hot glue gun to complete your project. So let's get started. Close the end of your yarn with needle and thread or hot glue. Then, using a magic circle technique, create a circle with your working yarn and do a half crochet stitch. Then do 5 single crochet stitches around the circle of your yarn. If you've never done hand crochet before, this is your outside loop. Pull your working yarn through the center of your circle for your inside loop, and then pull your working yarn through both to create the outside loop of your next stitch. So you'll work your way around the circle, pulling the end of your yarn tighter as you go to close up the center so that there's not a hole anymore. After you've completed 6 stitches around your circle, pull the end of your yarn really tight so that there's not a hole left in the bottom. Then move on to row 2. We're going to do 12 single crochet stitches around this row. We're going from 6 in our first row to 12 in our second row. So that means that we do 2 single crochet stitches per loop from the last row. So this is going into my second loop once and then twice. And then moving on to my third loop and going through it once and then a second time. In this way, we'll double our stitch count for this row. I'll show you closer up so you can see what I'm talking about. If your loops are kind of tight, simply pull your yarn aside to make room. Once you think you have 12 loops, you can count them around your circle to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So for your next row, you're going to do 12 single crochet stitches again. This time, since we already have 12 loops, you only have to go through each one once. So that was our first one. And here's our second one, our third one, and just continue your way around. If you need help keeping track of where you started, you can use a piece of string to tie onto your first loop so that you don't lose count. For our final row, we're going down to 6 single crochet stitches. So we are going from 12 in the previous row down to 6, cutting it in half. That means we'll skip every other loop and only end up with 6 when we're done all the way around. Again, if you need help keeping track of where you started, please use a piece of thread to mark your first loop. Now to close up the top of your pumpkin, pull your working yarn through your last loop that you made. Then you're going to take the end of your yarn and you're going to weave it around the top loops of your pumpkin. I just like to go from the bottom and pull up, and you'll do this through each of your loops around the top. When you get that done, you're going to pull the yarn tight and cinch the top closed just as the bottom is cinched closed. And there, you have your pumpkin shape. Next, you're going to grab your scissors and we're going to trim off the excess yarn. Pull back the outside of your yarn and cut about an inch of fluff out of the center. Then fold the outside of the yarn in on itself. Have your hot glue gun warming up, and you're going to close up the end of your yarn with just a little bit of hot glue. Then tuck the end of the yarn under another strand to hide it and use your hot glue gun to connect it. Then find the hole in the top of your pumpkin, add glue to your wooden stem, and stick the stem into the hole. Press on the sides to make sure it's secure. And you have your pumpkin. If you're not adding a leaf, then you're done. Otherwise, grab your leaf and your hot glue gun and stick your leaf into the top. Great work! Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed creating your pumpkin.